Good morning, pilgrims. It is day 6 on the Camino Francés in reverse, and I wasn't expecting this morning to be foggy, which only means one thing: it's gonna get hot in the afternoon for sure. This is the first time that I have breakfast in Portomarín in all of my Caminos, so I really don't know what to say. I had a café con leche and a croissant, and now I'm about to head out. So a bunch of pilgrims leaving already. So I might be one of the last ones. Today we got a 22-kilometer day to Sarria, the starting point of the Camino de Santiago for many, many people. We got a 7-kilometer ascent, 8 kilometers up there, and then the final 7 to town. Let's see, it's 8:05 right now and 11 degrees Celsius. It's gonna go as high as 36 again. My God, check out the fog, man. It just gives this a different atmosphere. This town has all the support that you need. You even have a small supermarket where you can buy supplies if you don't want to wait for the bars to open and have breakfast before you head out, because the next bar is 8 kilometers away. Oh yeah, let's enjoy this cool weather while it lasts, because this fog is gonna lift pretty soon, just like my drone is about to right now. You don't even have to ask. Yes, the drone is dripping wet from all this fog. I remember from being in Extremadura by Portomarín that all the news reports were saying that the record-breaking rains that I had to experience were filling up all the dams, and it shows. You can't even see the old bridge down below, which I've seen so many times. It's gonna be an epic day today, and what a way to start the day, of course. This is so symbolic, walking into the unknown in the mist. Oh, I love it. There's a pilgrim up there. Oh yeah, I remember this section from my last Camino last year. I always take like the alternative route, that one that follows the road. It's the same distance, but of course, you don't have to go through this rocky field. Especially at the beginning when you're coming down, and after walking on your second day, your legs are just destroyed. And here, when it's wet and slippery, you might twist an ankle, and that's the end of your Camino. Hopefully that won't be the case for me. Let's go. And we are done. Yeah, that was good. That was good just to warm up and wake up. And to do it in the mist, oh, it's just another layer. Today is gonna be a great day, just like every day out here on the Camino. I am definitely the first one to come through here because there are all the spider webs. So right now, I'm on the silk trail. Get out of the way, buddy. Clear path. This is what I'm talking about. See, I'm right here right now. There's the split. It's about the same distance, 1.1 versus 1.01. So you make a left, you go through that section. That's hell racing, you might say, or you can just follow the road, and they both connect right at the bridge. You get to cross the bridge and enter Portomarín. Now, do you think today I could get lost? I definitely had to keep an eye out, even though the stone markers kind of disappear into the fog. But of course I do have my GPS tracks, and I have My memory and experience. What's the odometer say today? 93.7 FM. Today we get to 110. Let me see. The road, the Camino. Today we get to Sarria, which is 110 kilometers. We're gonna walk past the 100 kilometer stone marker. And if I could have this fog tomorrow morning, oh man, if I could make it to Samos and be like this, woof, and through that forest that I love so much, you know, I wish that pilgrims, the ones that start in Sarria, could just see that stage. And they could just probably start in either Triacastela or Ocebreiro. It would add so much to their experience and their pain. Because you had to come down from that mountain, which I think I saw yesterday far out in the distance. It was definitely one of those. Foggy, foggy mornings, man. Today, I may actually get to use the fan for the second time on the trip. I used it for the first time in the municipal albergue in Zamora. If you guys saw that video, oh man, it was so hot in that albergue. They closed all the windows. There were so many people in that room that the temperature just went up. It was like 45 degrees outside, and inside we were just baking. Except me, I had the fan right here all night long. And today, I may take it out and actually walk with it attached somewhere around here, as I did on the Camino Portuguese, the central route. I could have probably used it yesterday in the afternoon as I made it to town, but I was just determined to get there, and I didn't want to dig into my backpack. I just love it when a house and a tree just emerge out of the fog. Yeah, beautiful house and beautiful tree, but I was going the wrong way. It happened, yeah. I knew it was gonna happen, and I just took out my phone. I had a tingling sensation in the back of my neck, and when I checked, yeah, I had gone off on a different path. But luckily for me, I can just reconnect with the Camino and not lose any ground at all. And that's the beauty of having the tracks on my phone. The alternative would have been to backtrack, and there then you lose some ground. Now here, which way do I go? Let me see. Because this one on the left looks completely overgrown, and of course that's the one I have to take. Never a dull moment on the Camino, but at least we don't have poisonous snakes like in Japan. But we do have my menace, stinging nettle. There you are. That's why I have long pants and a long shirt as well. I don't want to touch it. I have, and it ain't pretty. My shoes are wet right now. I can feel them. Ah, my pants. Man. Okay, back on track, back on the Camino. But at what cost? My feet are completely wet, and so are my pants, and I got a stowaway hanging on for dear life. I think it would have been better to just go back. At least I would have dry pants right now. But, you know, it goes with the territory. Sleeping villages, yeah. I think there's an albergue with a bar up here. I'm good. I had breakfast. I had breakfast at the same place where I had dinner last night. There you go. I remember. Sometimes. The visibility may have dropped to near zero, but the cool factor is through the roof. Wow, man. Just met my second pilgrim of the day. She just was just coming down through the fog, and I just stayed recording there, holding the shot for as long as I could. And then we started talking. She's like, why are you going the other way? Well, she's from Florida, not from Miami, just like 3 hours away up north, Venezuelan, Mary, and wow, man, did we talk there? We talked for a little bit, and it's nice. It's nice to start seeing the pilgrims come slowly, please, because today I may get hit the hardest because they all started together. There's no time for the herd to thin out. No, sir, we're gonna get punched. Okay, the sun is out and the fog is gone. Why? I was having such a great time. But look at that, clear blue skies, no clouds, no wind. Of course, that's how you get fog. Look at that. Oh, wow. Well, let the heat come. What kilometer are we by? 97.6, meaning we have 2.4 to go. We're almost at the top of the climb. I can see it already. And I just wanted to make two remarks. One positive, one negative about doing the Camino in reverse. Let's start with the negative just to get it out of the way. And that is that on this stage, all the bars have been closed. And of course it's expected because they're not waiting for that wave of pilgrims to hit them until much later in the morning. So you won't find anything until like around 10 in the morning. So the positive will be almost at the top, 97.8. What's up, buddy? What's up? Okay, the positive. When you do get to talk to other pilgrims, the conversations go just a little bit deeper than the typical one because they know they're not gonna see you again. They're gonna open up a little bit. They wanna know why you're doing this in reverse. And for example, with that lady, Maria, just talking about the Camino and everything else. Bar. Yeah, that's not a bar. That's a vending machine. Which on the Shikoku Henro in Japan is where the pilgrims get their refreshments. But I know there are more bars along the way, so I'm gonna continue on. A little spot to escape from the sun here in the shade. All right. Ah, burns, it burns. I forgot to mention to you guys that the place where I'm staying today in Sarria, I pre-booked it by phone. Is Pensión Don Álvaro, which I stayed there last year. The lady told me that I needed to confirm before 2 in the afternoon. So it's only 15 euros and you get a bed, not a bunk bed. So that's like a Albergue-in style. Let's make the call, and it will be, of course, in Spanish. I'll put the subtitles.
Buenos días.
Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Efren González y yo tengo una reservación para hoy.
Sí, sí, muy bien. Vas a llegar entonces.
Sí, yo vengo caminando al revés. Vengo desde Portomarín.
Ay, es verdad, no me acuerdo que me lo habías comentado, sí.
Sí, sí. Así que no sé, llegaré entre a eso las 3 por ahí o antes, no sé.
Vale, no te preocupes. Aquí estaremos.
Bueno, gracias, nos vemos.
Vale. Buen viaje.
Hasta luego.
Chao.
Chao. There you go. Not an issue. Let's continue. And we are in the town of Apena, where the 100-kilometer storm marker is located. So 100 kilometers down, 690 to Roncesvalles, if I go by the distance on the marker there, and a few thousand to make it to Rome. Here it is. There you are, baby. But I'm going that way. It's 11 in the morning and I'm hitting the bubble for sure. No, you got lost. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm going back. Yes, I'm going back. So that makes 6 people already that have told me over the last half an hour that I'm going the wrong way. They're new to the game, that's how it goes. So yeah, 100 kilometers, yeah? Make that 1,107 from Sevilla, and I still got a few thousand kilometers to Rome. From doing the math, I did the Geneva way, Geneva to Santiago a couple of years ago. That was 1,800 kilometers. So 1,800 from Geneva to the Grand Saint Bernard's Pass, it's about 7 days. So let's just round that off to 2,000 kilometers. And I know that from the Grand Saint Bernard to Rome, that's a cool 1,000. So that will be 3,000 kilometers from Santiago. Hola. This looks all too familiar. You know, for the first time I see maintenance crew cleaning up the Camino, which is always nice. I did a little bit myself on the Camino Portuguese. I took one of those grabbers and a bunch of supermarket plastic bags, and every day I will clean up as much as I could. But of course, it's never enough. Those are not Cubans, those are Puerto Ricans. Un café au lait et un croissant. That's what I have for my second breakfast. Late breakfast. It was 11:30 already. I was at this bar joking around with the ladies working in there because they found out that I was doing this all the way to Rome, and we just had a blast. She also confirmed to me that there aren't that many pilgrims on the Camino yet. I guess this will be the shoulder season, and most of the pilgrims are probably starting around this time in Saint Jean-Pied-de-Port, and we're gonna clash somewhere in La Meseta. Buen camino. And the fan is finally out after 36 days of carrying it on the Via de la Plata. There it is. The temperature is 73 right now, on its way to 81. That's like 22 to 24. Just had lunch already. It's 1 o'clock. I went for a simple lunch. Just had a Aquarius with a banana and a little pincho. And now the umbrella and the fan, the perfect combination for this hot spring day. All right, guys, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. This is such a great shot that I felt like I needed to say something important, but I really got nothing. So I think I better just shut up and let the music play. And I thought I was taking the Camino seriously, but those guys fully dressed, they do play the part, don't they? I'm on the final approach, so it's 1 o'clock, so I should be getting to Sarria within the hour. I don't know. Let's just enjoy this last stretch because I know that there's a major climb out of Sarria through the forest that's gorgeous. And then for me, I have to climb to the town. This town is like a mountain and the whole town is perched on the side of it. I think I drastically underestimated how much I had left because it is 2:30 and now is when I'm getting to Sarria, coming down through this beautiful forest. And I just kept seeing this local guy. He got off a tractor and I guess he's on his way to Sarria. And he kept turning back and looking at me and we kept getting closer and closer. And then just as I made a turn here in the forest, he was just there with his junk out, pissing. I guess he couldn't hold it anymore. So yes, another beautiful day, warm. My God, blue skies. I don't know if I'm gonna keep saying this by the time I make it to La Meseta, but for now, let me enjoy it because I've had some pretty crappy days on this journey. I've had it all. I had rain, I had strong winds, cold temperature. I managed to escape the snow barely because I saw it coming to me in the hoods of cars. Maybe by the time I make it to Ocebrado, there might be a little bit there on the ground, on the side, who knows? I don't think so. With days like today and yesterday, and I still got 2 days to get there, probably everything will be melted. It is 3 in the afternoon and I finally made it to Sarria, the starting point for like 90% of all the people that do the Camino de Santiago is this place. And tomorrow we're gonna start a new stage on the journey. And a couple of days after that, we're gonna leave Galicia behind and make our way down to La Meseta. Oh yes, I underestimated the climb here. It was super steep, but short. Actually, it's easier than the approach from the other side. Now let's go to the Albergue because I have sweated so much today that I definitely need to do laundry. That's how it goes. And here we are in the albergue. I had to wait a little bit while two Koreans checked in. And this room, my God, I was here last year. David and Cherry, do you guys remember your beds? I was back in the pension in the building, so yeah. But we do have a shower over here. Nice, within this room, and they have laundry, €4 washing, €4 drying, and I will take advantage of that service right now after I take this shower. Wow, man, I'm in Sarria, and the lady told me that it's super quiet. So that goes to show you how it could be up or down. It doesn't really matter what time of the year. It's hot right now, and we're talking about the beginning of April. Sometimes it's cold up here, sometimes it's hot like today. And this is just €15 each. Boop. This is my bed over here in this corner, because I see an outlet back there. Did you know that Sarria has like a river walk with a bunch of shops and places to stop for a bite to eat? Yeah, I hang out there for a little bit. I had to make my way down. Behind me are the steps or the stairs from Joker. And I don't mean the movie, I just mean what probably every pilgrim says when they get to this point is, you got to be joking me. Yes, it is a steep climb that you have to make past the church, continue all the way up through all the albergues, and then finally make it to the sign that says Sarria. And from there, the descent begins to that bridge, that Roman bridge where I crossed over before I made it here. Yeah, this is quite the end of a stage. Tomorrow is gonna be a great day. It's gonna be great, no more crowds. There's so many people here in this town. You can tell that this is the starting point for the Camino. And you know, the students. But tomorrow, all that's gonna be gone. I'm gonna be doing one of the most beautiful sections of the entire Camino Francés, which is the section from Triacastela to Sarria via Samos. If you've never done it, you don't know what you're missing. To me, that's where the Camino Francés really ends and the craziness begins. So tomorrow, yeah, all this is gonna be behind me. The guy that's staying in my room, he's doing the Francés from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, so we were talking there for a little bit. I already had dinner. I went out and I had steak with fries and tinto de verano. And now I'm just walking around the streets waiting for the sunset so that it concludes this stage of the journey. Can't leave you guys without thanking the troll angel of the day, Keith Akers. Thank you so much, sir. Tomorrow, I'm gonna wake up at 7:30, have breakfast, let all the people head out, and then make my way back. Tomorrow is also gonna be a climb, not so much. I mean, it's just gonna be constantly climbing, but overall, I think it might be a few hundred meters of elevation gain. Nothing like the day after, when I go from Triacastela to Ocebreiro. That's gonna be a hell of a climb. It's gonna be like, well, not as tough as doing the Napoleon route on day one from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port to Roncesvalles, but it's definitely gonna be challenging because that stage, as it is, coming from Ocebreiro to Triacastela, by the time you make it there, you're destroyed from walking on a downhill slope the entire day. So just imagine doing it backwards. I think that's a big climb. The next one will be the climb to Cruz de Fierro right after Molina Seca, right after Ponferrada. That's another monster of a climb that I think I'm gonna break in two. And then finally, it will be the climb from Spain to France, from Roncesvalles to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. I wasn't gonna do that. I was gonna just walk up to Pamplona, take my few rest days there to celebrate my 45th birthday, and then take a bus back to Puente la Reina and do the Camino Aragonés to some port. But since I have a few days and I got rid of all my rest days, since I have only like 20, 25 kilometers a day throughout, I'm gonna go all the way so that I can say that I walked the entire Camino Francés in reverse. And then later on, if I wanna continue going that way, since I always mention when, I mentioned that when I finished the Via Podiensis, when I got to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, I said that it would be an incredible trip to do that one in reverse. So now here's the chance. I could go and do it, both ways. I can go through the Camino de Arles to Rome and then do another trip later on where I do the Via Podiensis in reverse, and I can connect all these videos and connect the Via Francigena in both points. In Geneva, after doing the Via Podiensis and the Via Gebeniensis, and then through Arles, going through the south of France, connecting with the Via Francigena somewhere around Marina di Massa, or around that area, the Mediterranean, and then going through Lucca, Tuscany, Rome. See you guys tomorrow, bright and early as usual.